Hello everyone, Nash here, and today we are going to look at a Cakewalk Sonar beginner video. I will just go through all the basics that you need to learn when you just open the door. Basically this is just like a crash course. So let's start. Usually at the start you will get a countdown screen, and after 10 seconds you can use the free Cakewalk Sonar. After you get here you will see multiple options over here. What you have to do is you have to go to create and then open an empty project. Once your project is open, I will recommend you hide certain things for now, like this pane on the right, this section. You don't need this for now. I will explain it later when you need it. So we'll minimize this, or you can press B on the keyboard to minimize it. Okay. At the bottom here you will see the help module, and this is very useful during the start because as you hover over things it shows you certain shortcuts that you can use, and using shortcuts in the DAW will actually be very useful to you as your workflow becomes way faster. Like I hover over the play pause button, it shows that the shortcut for it is spacebar. As we go on, I will tell you more of these shortcuts. For now we'll close this, press B, and then you close the section on the left, or you can press I on the keyboard. This is called a inspector, and the section on the right is called a browser. We close it for now. During the start of a new project, you might also have the arranger open. So this is the arranger, and you might have the tempo and this thing open over here, the video track. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to close this video track and the tempo track and also the arranger track. You don't need arranger to be open. You can use A on the keyboard, or you can just hide it back up. Now we can start by adding a track. You go to this plus symbol over here, add a track. You'll see two options. One is the audio track and the instrument track. First we'll open up the instrument track, then we select the instrument. Now I am going to load an instrument track that comes pre-installed with Cakewalk Sonar. So you go to piano and then the SI electric piano, you left click on that and then you click on create. So now we have the piano track. You expand this section over here a little to open it up. Since this is a beginner tutorial, I have opened a pre-installed plugin on this. Eventually you will have to install third-party plugins, and you can find so many third-party plugins that you can bring into Cakewalk. So for now we'll use this plugin. Okay, so now this is an instrument track. This is called a MIDI track. It is identified by this keyboard symbol over here. Now next to the name of the track you will see this symbol. You left click on it. These are some pre-recorded samples that you can hear. You will want to click on this default program and then you can choose a template of your choice. I'll choose this classic Rhodes. You double click on it and then you close this. It should be loaded here. And then you close the plugin. You come to this space over here. Here at the top what you see is the playhead. So wherever you place this playhead and you press play, it starts playing from there. Another thing you'll want to do is turn on the metronome. So the button for the metronome is over here. You click on it and then it's turned on now. The time signature that we're using is 4x4. You can see it over here. And the tempo of this project is at 120 BPM. You can change this by left clicking on it and then you can just enter a number. I'll change this to 126 and then you press enter. I'll bring the playhead to the start. You can see this line following my cursor. If you want you can turn it off by pressing X on the keyboard, but I prefer to keep it on because it becomes easier to place my playhead where I need it to be. Now you come to this part of the track, you right click, go to view and then you click on piano roll view. Here it will also show you the shortcut for it, like you press Alt and 3, it opens up the piano roll view. You will see it come halfway through the screen. So what you do is you use the shortcut Shift plus D to full screen it, and then you can just toggle it with D. on the keyboard. So now we press D, open the piano roll, and we'll draw in some chords. So to place a note in the piano roll, you either double click or you can hold Alt on the keyboard and then do a left click. To stretch the note, you come to the end of the note, press and hold and then drag it out. You can left click, hold and then move the note up or down. You right click on the note, it deletes the note. And there are so many other alterations that can be done to the MIDI. I cannot tell you all the alterations that can be done to MIDI in this video because this is a beginner video and this video will get too long if I start explaining everything about MIDI over here. So I'll put the specific links to that specific topic on the top right corner here. You can go through those videos and then you can specialize in that specific topic. Okay, so let's continue. Now I'll just draw some quick chords. Okay, so I have drawn some chords. Now when you press D back on the keyboard, it takes you back to the clips pane. This area is called a clips pane and this is the track pane. So what you see here is the clip. You can move this clip around. This is basically a MIDI clip. Right now I'm left click holding and then moving it around. If you have highlighted the clip now and then you press Ctrl and D on the keyboard, it will copy paste it in front of this clip. Now we'll add a few more tracks. To add a track, you don't always have to click on the plus icon. You can even right click over here on the track section or the track pane and then you can insert an instrument. We'll load a drum kit. This is the SI drum kit. It is also a VST plugin that comes pre-installed with Sonar. Click on create. On the clips pane, on this track you right click, go to view, and this time we'll open the step sequencer. Now before we place the notes in the step sequencer, we'll open the plugin. You click on the icon next to the name, and as we did for the electric piano, we'll load a preset over here. I'll open this big room kit. You double click on it, it loads it. Close this. And then you left click to place a note. Again, the specific video to step sequencer I will link over here. There will be other videos also that you will need to watch, like installing third-party plugins, the shortcut videos, installing the samples and then using the samples. For now, let's carry on with this. Right now I'll just show you the basics that you need to know to just get started. I'll just play some drums. So I put down some drums now and you will notice that it is playing only for a bar. So then you left click on this and then as before you hit Ctrl plus D and then you hit it multiple times till you fill out all the 8 bars. You bring the playhead back to the start. I'll just change one note in the MIDI. Bring this down, yeah. We'll add another track now. We got the bass, the SI bass guitar. Again, comes pre-installed with Sonar. And I'll just copy paste the notes from this MIDI. So to highlight the notes, you right click and then drag. It selects these notes and then you can just hit Ctrl C. Then I press D again to exit from the piano roll. Make sure your playhead is at the start. You select this track by left clicking on the name of the track, or you can even click on the number of the track. So you click on that and then you hit Ctrl V and then it gets pasted over here in this bass guitar track. Left click and then Ctrl D to copy paste it. Now I'll just select a preset for the bass guitar. Press D to open the piano roll. Shift T in case it is coming half screened. Okay, seems fine. I'll add another track. The string section. And now I'll write a melody using these chords. Press D on my keyboard. Now on the right side here, you will see all the MIDI tracks that you have. In case you don't see this section over here, you'll have to click on this minimize or expand button over here. You'll see the expand button over here. And you click on this. You can open it up a little. Here, whichever name of the track that you click on, it opens up the MIDI of that particular track. Now I want to write the melody with the help of the chords that I've already written. Now what I do is I left click on the lock button over here for the first track, because I know my chords are on the first track, and then I click on the name of the string section track. So now I see like an outline of the chords that I have in the first track. So with respect to those chords, I can write a melody over here. If you don't see this in a grayish color, then that may be because your auto lock is off. You will see auto lock over here. You turn this on, because if you turn auto lock off and then you try to edit, you by mistake will end up editing the chords. So hit Ctrl Z and then turn auto lock on, and now we can write the melody. Okay, so I have the melody, and now I'll just copy paste it for the next 4 bars. I right click, hold, and then select all the notes. I left click on a single note, and then I drag it over here, and then I hold Control on my keyboard, and then I leave the left click. Okay, so now I press D again on my keyboard. Right here I will tell you some of the things that are there on the track. This is the mute button. So when I press the mute button, it will play everything else except this track. I'll toggle the mute button in between. You can mute multiple tracks by left click and then dragging down. And then you can unmute them in the similar way. The next button is the solo button. Solo means it will play only this track and the rest of the tracks will get muted. For now, these are the important ones that you need to know. Now what we have to do is we have to adjust the volumes of individual tracks. For that, here at the bottom you will see the console view. You click on that, it opens up this section. In case you don't see the console view, you can right click on a track, any track, go to view, and then you will see over here console view. It opens up half, shift plus D to full screen it. These are the same tracks as these tracks. I am toggling in between them using D. These are called channel strips. So this is numbered 1. This is a piano, just as this one. The drum kit, bass guitar, drum kit, bass guitar. And now when I press spacebar, or even if I press over here, it shows me the volumes of the tracks. So this is the volume slider. You drag this up or down to increase or decrease the volume of the track. On the right, the channel strips that you see are called buses. This is your master bus. All these tracks are routed to this master bus over here. You can see the output over here. This is the master. Bringing this down will bring the whole project volume down. More on buses you will find in this video. Now while we are in the console view, you will see this arrow next to this Pro channel strip. It says show hide Pro channel. So you click on that and then you will see all these plugins. These are the effects plugins. So this is the EQ, this is the compressor, and so on. So on the EQ, I click on this arrow over here and then I turn the EQ on. This is the EQ for the electric piano. Now I press spacebar on my keyboard. This is where you can EQ out unwanted frequencies and such. I'll put a high pass filter. You can either use these plugins over here, or I would recommend that you use the third-party plugins that you will install. There are more parameters here that you can try out, like the panning. It will pan the electric piano to the left. I'll pan the strings to the right. If you're wearing your headphones, you can make out the difference. I panned it to the left now, and I panned the piano to the right. You double click on the knob or any parameter over here, it resets it, like so. Here you will see the effects section. Here is where you can add your third-party plugins for the effects, like your reverb, your compressor. You click on the plus icon, you go to insert audio effects, and then you select the plugin that you want on that track. You can even do it from the track pane, like I press D now to go back, and then you will see the effects section over here. You can click on the plus sign and then insert audio effects, and then you can put the effect that you want. Now I'll press I on my keyboard, and then it opens this section on the left side. You will see this icon over here, show hide Pro channel. It is the same Pro channel that we saw in the console section for this particular track. Now this is for the SI electric piano. I click on it again, and then it shows me the channel strip for this particular track. So I can just go between these tracks, and then it shows me that particular track. Just to identify the tracks properly, you can hover over the left side of the track, and then you will see track color. Left click and then select the color of your choice. You will see the updated color in the channel strip too, like over here. As you're listening to the track over here, you can change the volume of the track here. Instead of going to the console view and changing the volumes, you can directly do it over here. It's actually up to you. Whichever you find easy, you can do. Just that using shortcuts, it becomes a little easier. Otherwise, you'll have to click over here to go to the piano roll, then the console view, or you'll have to left click and drag this down to close this. I'll close the inspector pane now. Now we'll see the browser pane on the right. So I press B to open it up, or you can click on this arrow over here. Here I can see all my effects plugins, and next to the plugins you will see this folder symbol over here. You click on that, then you'll have to click on this arrow over here, which will take you back into your folders, and then look for the folder where you have downloaded your sample packs. So these are all the sample packs that I have downloaded. You double click to open any of the folder. You left click, hold and drag a sample, and then leave it into the clips pane. It automatically creates an audio track. You can differentiate between the MIDI and the audio track by this symbol. This is the keyboard symbol for the MIDI track, and you will see this audio symbol for the audio track. You left click and hold, the same as the MIDI track, to move it around. I will tell you about a few more shortcuts right now. If you hold Alt on your keyboard and then use the scroll on your mouse, you can zoom in and zoom out of the track. Then if you hold Control on your keyboard and then again use your scroll wheel, you can move left and right in the clips pane. So when you zoom in, you can align the clip properly with the time that you want. So I want it to be placed at the start of bar 4, and then you can align it properly at the start. Now I will adjust the tail of the clip by left clicking and dragging, and then I'll put it towards the end of the first beat. Now I left click, I hold control, and then I click T multiple times just to copy paste it in front of it. I'll delete these samples just before the start of the 5th bar. I right click, drag and highlight them, and then I press delete on the keyboard. As you see this red mark over here, that means these claps are clipping. So what I do is I open the inspector panel. This track is already been selected over here. You can see the number, or you can see the name of the track, and I reduce the volume a bit. Now before dragging in the sample, you can preview the sample by left clicking on it, hit this play button. So if you don't want the sample to be looping continuously, you can go to this media section, you click on this arrow over here, and then you turn off loop preview, you uncheck it. So now it just plays it once. To delete a track, you right click on the track and then you hit delete track. To move a track up or down in between these tracks, you hover the mouse pointer over the track, you will see this double-ended arrow, and then you can left click, hold and drag up or down. You will see the orange line, that is where the track will get placed. So I'll put it between the drum kit and the bass guitar, so this track gets moved over there. You can use this arrow to track back. If you don't need the help module, you can hide it. Click on this arrow. Now over here I showed you the sample section. You also have the plugin browser. These are your audio effects plugins. These are the plugins that you use over here in the effects section. Then there is a MIDI effects section, and these are your instruments which you load using this plus symbol over here. In the uncategorized section, you will see most of the plugins that you have installed. These are all the third-party plugins. Most of the time you will be in your sample section to drag in your samples. I'll hide it, I'll press B. There are like certain changes that you can do to the sample, like you can make a crossfade over here. Then you can reverse the sample by going to process over here on the top left, apply effect, and then hit reverse. It will reverse the sample. I'll solo this track. I hit Ctrl Z to undo the changes. Then at the top here you will see the type of tool that you need to use. So this is the select tool. This is used to left click and drag and then select multiple parts of the project. Most of the time you will be working with the smart tool only. Like when you're with the smart tool, you can move the clips around, you can select the clips. Then when you hold Alt on the keyboard and you hover at the bottom of the clip, you will see this scissor icon, and then you left click and it splits the clip into two. I will link all these things in that particular video for the MIDI clips. I'll undo these changes. Then finally, when you're done with all your tracks, you go to the top left here that says export. I will recommend exporting with the selections option. Now this is selected to the project option. I will change it to selection. Then what I do is I hit Ctrl plus A on my keyboard to select all of the tracks. Or what you can do is you can left click, hold on the number of the track, and then you drag down to select all the tracks. Now at the top where you see the bar numbers, you will see this marker over here. Now you use this marker to select how much of the project that you want to be exported out. So I'll leave a little space at the end, and it starts on the first beat. You click on this arrow, you go to audio, and then I would recommend exporting it in the waveform. This is the highest quality audio file that you will get, or you can export it in the MP3 format. I'll select wave. It opens up your folder, you rename it, and then you click on save. And that is it for the beginner tutorial for Cakewalk Sonar. I think these are some of the things that you need to get started with Cakewalk, and I would recommend you to watch the specific videos that are linked because they will be very helpful to you. And the most important thing would be to learn the keyboard shortcuts. There are not too many keyboard shortcuts, just a few of them. I hope this video was helpful to you, and if you are new to the channel, do subscribe. It will mean a lot to me. Thank you for watching. See you soon.